You see his name again. Viewed your story almost instantly. Liked your post, but didn't comment. Watched your reel, maybe even shared it. But your phone? Silent. No messages, no explanation, no attempt to speak. Just that quiet presence. Watching. Hovering. Noticing. Why? Why would someone follow your every move? Track your updates. Observe your life from behind the screen. Maybe even in person. But choose to say absolutely nothing. Some people are watchers by nature. They process the world by observing, not engaging. They collect data, they monitor, they analyze. And when it comes to you, whether you used to be close, or never quite got there, or had an intense falling out, or even a brief flirtation that fizzled, whatever happened, you live rent-free in his curiosity. But watchers don't speak unless the risk feels safe. They delay expression until the outcome feels predictable. They don't ghost you because they stop caring. They ghost because they're overwhelmed by how much they still do. Sometimes, silence isn't avoidance. It's paralysis. He watches because you still matter, but he doesn't speak because he doesn't know how. Maybe he hurt you and can't forgive himself. Maybe he misses you, but thinks you've moved on. Maybe he loves you, but doesn't think he measures up. Maybe he thinks he lost his chance and is scared to reopen the wound for either of you. So instead of stepping in, he stays on the edge, not fully gone, but not truly present. He waits, watches, hoping to see an opening, hoping you'll post something, anything that says, it's okay, you can come back. But you don't, and so, neither does he. In some cases, watching without speaking isn't about affection. It's about control. If you've ever been in a relationship where power was uneven, or where they had the final say, then this silence might be strategic. He's watching not to reconnect, but to remind you, I'm still here. It's a subtle power move. It says, I see what you're doing. I see who you're with. I see your glow up, and I'm not clapping for it. This kind of silence isn't passive. It's possessive. He doesn't want to be part of your world again, but he doesn't want anyone else in it either. In real connection, there are awkward silences, misunderstandings, accountability. But from a distance, he gets to keep the fantasy version of you. The version that never challenges him, never disagrees, never cries, never says, you hurt me. He watches because it keeps the fantasy alive. And fantasies are addictive, especially for people who struggle with real intimacy. You are safer in his head than in his heart, so he lets you live there, in silence, in stillness, but always under surveillance. Attachment theory explains a lot here. An avoidantly attached person craves connection, but fears the vulnerability that comes with it. So instead of approaching you directly, he hovers. Instead of messaging, he refreshes your profile. Instead of asking how you are, he scans your stories for clues. He thinks silence protects him from rejection. But in reality, he's still deeply attached. He's just trying to avoid the pain he associates with closeness. So you get this strange cocktail of distance and obsession. Detached words, but constant presence. Nothing said, but everything watched. Let's say he does want to talk to you. Then why doesn't he? Fear, pure and simple. Rejection is terrifying when you care, especially if he thinks you've already moved on or that you wouldn't receive him kindly. He convinces himself that watching is safer than asking, that knowing of you is better than being told he can't have you. So he keeps his distance. He satisfies his curiosity with your posts and stories, and every time he almost reaches out, he imagines the worst and retreats. Some silences are soaked in regret. If he messed up, really hurt you, or pushed you away, or let his ego ruin something, then watching may be the only thing he feels entitled to do. He might believe he doesn't deserve to reach out. So he punishes himself by staying silent, while still watching the life you used to be part of. It's like emotional penance. He doesn't interfere. He just watches, longing without license, hoping for forgiveness without asking for it. For some, silence isn't about fear or depth. It's about ego. He can't bring himself to say, "I miss you." He can't admit he's still affected. But letting you go completely, that's too much. So he lurks, follows, views, because his ego needs the update. Even if he doesn't speak, he needs to know he could if he wanted to. And he quietly hopes you'll notice him noticing. So you'll be the one to break the silence first. Some people hate being the one to go first. They'll do everything except initiate. Like every post, watch every story, show up in every digital corner. But they'll never send that message, because they're waiting for you to do it. To them, watching is their signal. They think it says, "I'm still here, I'm still interested." But without words, it becomes confusing. And they mistake observation for effort. But effort isn't silent. Sometimes you become a mirror. You reflect back something he's not ready to see. His failures, his growth edges, his unfinished business. Maybe you made him feel something he buried. Maybe you triggered a turning point in his life. Whatever it is, you're not just a person to him. You're a reflection of who he was, with you. And while he can't face you directly, he can't look away either. So he watches from afar, haunted, inspired, confused, curious, but still silent. When someone watches your every move but says nothing, it isn't meaningless. It's just not always what you wish it were. Sometimes it means he misses you. Sometimes it means he's trying to control the narrative. Sometimes it means he's afraid of you. And sometimes it just means he doesn't know what to do with the feelings you stir up. The question becomes, is silence enough for you? Because someone watching isn't the same as someone showing up. A presence behind the screen is not the same as presence in your life. You deserve more than curiosity. You deserve clarity. You deserve connection that doesn't hide behind silence. So, whatever he's watching for, let him. But you, keep moving. Keep growing. Keep glowing. And don't pause your life for someone who can't even find their voice. So, whatever he's watching for, let him. But you, keep moving. Keep growing. Keep glowing. And don't pause your life for someone who can't even find their voice. But let's go even deeper. Sometimes, his silence isn't just about fear, control, or confusion. It's about habit. He's grown used to consuming you like content. He scrolls, pauses, stares. You've become a part of his daily loop. Not because he plans to reach out, but because watching you has become emotional background noise. And that, in itself, is dangerous. Because when someone reduces your presence to a habit, they're not awing your humanity. They're soothing their boredom, or ego, or loneliness. And in doing so, they keep you emotionally tethered without giving you anything real in return. You don't need to be someone's emotional pacifier. You don't exist to help someone else feel better in silence while you're doing the work to move forward. He may tell himself he's not doing anything wrong, but you know what it feels like. The way your stomach turns when his name appears again. The way your mind starts spinning stories. Does this mean he still cares? Should I reach out? Was it really over? That's the hook. That's how you stay connected to someone who's not really present, just lingering. And it's not love, it's a loop. He may not be ready to lose you completely, but that doesn't mean he's ready to keep you properly. There's a difference between being missed and being chosen. There's a difference between being observed and being claimed. There's a difference between someone who remembers you and someone who shows up for you. Now, if he really wanted to reconnect, he would. You wouldn't have to decode likes, views, or breadcrumb energy. You wouldn't have to wonder if his silence is loud on purpose. People who care, speak. People who respect you, make it clear. People who have grown will own their presence, not hide behind it. Let's be honest. You're not imagining the intensity. The watching is real. The attention is real. But here's the truth. So is the inaction. So is the silence. So is the choice not to say a word. And both truths can live at once. He can feel something and still not act on it. He can be curious and still be unavailable. He can miss you and still not know how to love you. That's what hurts the most. The connection didn't disappear. It just got trapped in a person who doesn't know what to do with it. And that's not your fault. You were never too much, too emotional, too intense, too difficult. You were just asking for what he wasn't ready to give. And he knows that. That's why he watches. That's why he stays close enough to keep the feeling alive, but far enough to avoid the responsibility. So what do? You get honest with yourself. Ask, do I want love that hides? Do I want connection that stays silent? Do I want a relationship where I have to read between the lines just to feel seen? Because if the answer is no, then it's time to choose you. Let him watch. Let him wonder. Let him regret. But don't let him interrupt your healing. Don't let him pause your process. Don't let the silence make you second-guess what you already know. This is not what real love looks like. Love doesn't hide behind glass. Love doesn't hover like a ghost. Love shows up, stands tall, and makes space for you to feel safe and heard. He may not know how to do that, but someone else will. So yes, he's watching. But the question isn't why. The question is, why are you still looking back? You're not the same person you were when he walked away. You're wiser, softer in the right places, stronger in the rest. And you don't need silent validation. You don't need passive attention. You need partnership. The kind that holds your hand in real time. The kind that doesn't flinch when things get real. The kind that doesn't hide behind a screen, hoping you'll say something first. Let him watch. Let him be the ghost in your story, not the hero. Because you already saved yourself. The ending to this story is not about who watched you from the sidelines. It's about how far you ran after you stopped waiting. That's what you'll really remember. Not what you posted, not who you were with, but how you kept going without him. How you refused to shrink for someone who couldn't speak. Let that be your closure. He watched, but he didn't show up. And now? You keep moving, but not to prove anything. Not to make him jealous. Not to force a reaction. You move because stillness is no longer your story. You don't need to block him. You don't need to announce anything. You don't need to play games or disappear to gain power. You reclaim your energy in quiet ways. Ways that make you magnetic without even trying. Because the most powerful response to someone who's watching your every move is to live like you forgot they were there. You show them, without saying a word, that your world is full, that your peace is intact, that you are building, laughing, resting, exploring, blooming without them. Not out of spite, but because your happiness no longer hinges on what they say or don't say. Here's what that looks like. You start by living for now, not for a hypothetical message, not for what if he comes back, not for maybe he just needs more time. You release the fantasy. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head. You stop curating your posts to catch his attention. You stop letting the possibility of his return hold any part of your power. Because nothing keeps someone more intrigued, more drawn in, than a woman who's unbothered, joyful, and present. You focus on your health, your body, your sleep, your joy, your skin, your nervous system. You learn what calms you. You learn what lights you up. You surround yourself with people who make you belly laugh, not overthink. You take yourself out. You touch grass. You sit in sunlight. You slow down. You romanticize the quiet parts of your day. You post if you want. You disappear when you need to. You don't live online. Because the best parts of your life, they're happening off screen. And if he's watching, let him scroll through moments that are no longer curated for his gaze. Let him feel the shift. Let him feel the absence of that old version of you. The one who used to wonder, why won't he just say something? That version is gone. She evolved, and she didn't need permission to do it. Here's what you understand now. Love doesn't chase. It doesn't beg. It doesn't perform. It attracts. It anchors. It radiates. You become so deeply aligned with who you are becoming that his presence or absence feels neutral. Because if he returns, you'll welcome him with discernment, not desperation. If he doesn't, your life is already full. That is true detachment, not coldness, not bitterness, not pretending you never cared, but being so at peace with your path that anyone who watches from the sidelines realizes they'll have to rise to meet you or stay exactly where they are. That's the trade-off when you become your own home. People can visit, but they no longer define the temperature of your world. So what keeps someone like him attracted? What keeps him invested, even from a distance? What pulls at him late at night when he checks your story but still can't press send? It's your freedom, your glow that no longer seeks his validation, your softness that no longer waits, your power that no longer apologizes for itself. It's the mystery of a woman who moved on with her heart open, not closed, who chose peace, not performance, who lives with love, not for a person, but as a state of being. That's what leaves him haunted. Not your silence, not your games, but your joy, your wholeness, your peace. Because eventually, even the ones who only watched from afar realized they were witnessing something rare. A woman who didn't just survive the silence, she thrived in spite of it. Let that be your truth. He can keep watching. But you're too busy living. And that is everything.